Greetings, everyone. Pete Pardo here from Sea of Tranquility. Welcome to another episode of What's Hot with Sea of Tranquility. It's Wednesday, new review day here on the channel. In this episode, we're going to take a look at the sixth album from this British band. Came out fairly recently. It's a little bit of a twist on the stuff that they've done prior on their 5 albums before. The band is Uncle Acid and The Deadbeats. The album is Nell Ora Blu. All right, it's on Rise Above Records. Yes, you might be noticing that this looks like a soundtrack album. Well, yes and no. It basically is a soundtrack album to a movie that does not exist. Whether it will at some point in time, I have no idea. But as of today, there is no movie called Nell Ora Blu, which basically is a kind of made-up script. So this is a concept album in addition to being kind of like a soundtrack album to a movie that does not exist. And it's basically a homage to the great 70s Italian giallo films as well as crime thriller films. And what the band have done is they have contacted and gotten 3 stars of Italian cinema from that golden era to go and do some voiceover things on the album. And that would be the lovely Edwige Fenech, as well as Franco Nero, right? I mean, these people are very, very well-known actors, and Luke Miranda, and they appear on the album, which is basically kind of like, sort of like a serial killer, giallo, crime thriller, with 19 tracks, lots of little musical interludes. It's set up just like a soundtrack album. You got like some main songs, fully fleshed out songs, and then lots of these cool musical interludes as well as spoken word stuff. So it plays like a real soundtrack as it kind of takes you through this whole giallo story. For those of you who are watching, who are maybe not fans of the Monsters Den here on the channel, don't know what I'm talking about. Giallo means that's basically the Italian kind of serial killer thriller. It's always a guy in a dark mask and some kind of wearing gloves with a knife or some kind of weapon who goes off killing people, and usually it's like kind of like a whodunit, right? And then at the end of the film, there's the big reveal of who the killer actually is, and they explain the whole thing and blah, blah, blah. Most, by directors like Dario Argento and Mario Bava, Lucio Fulci, and Sergio Leone, and the list goes on and on. These were very, very popular in the 70s. So if you've never watched giallo films, but you like kind of horror movies, and especially you like kind of like serial killer, thriller killer films, you should check these out. They're really great. Anyway, so this is basically an homage to that. Let's take a look at the slipcase. All right. See, there's the killer in the hat, right? That's the way it's got to be set up that way. And there he is on the front. You can see he's wearing the hat. He's wearing some kind of thing over his face, and he's got the dark gloves. And there you see an old phone booth. Remember those kids? Phone booths? And then throughout the booklet, you basically have all the lyrics to all the tracks on here and basically telling this whole story along with some imagery. All the track titles are in Italian, so they try to go as authentic here as possible. So obviously he's using the phone booth, right, to make a lot of his contact. So here we have some shots of our cast, right? Franco Nero, there's Edwige, right? All right, so who is in the band for this? Of course, we've got the main guy, founding member of the band, Kevin Stars, vocals, guitars, analog synths, keyboards, bass, drums, percussion, basically does a little bit of everything. You got Vaughn Stokes on vocals, guitars, bass, and keyboards. Jesse Wagner backing vocals. And Matteo Zecchi, saxophone and flute. Nick Weaver on trumpet. And Vita Wolf, choir leader. Got children's choir on here. Okay, so basically Kevin Stars is the main guy in Uncle Acid. For the most part, he's a multi-instrumentalist, writes the songs, singer, main guitar player. So this is not like your typical Uncle Acid and the Deadbeats album. For those of you who are fans, most of their albums are pretty much stoner, doom, psychedelic type of things. Very much throwback to music of the 70s. Very kind of tongue-in-cheek, but with big doomy Sabbathy riffs and like kind of like cool little Beatles harmonies and things. To me, if you're familiar with the band Big Elf, they're kind of like a more doomy version of what Big Elf has been doing for a number of years. But some great albums in their catalog so far. Here we have something completely different because they're utilizing like film score elements, prog rock, psychedelia, pop, as well as some doom and stoner, and wrapping it all up into one. You've got lots of tracks here. Like I said, they're all in Italian, but they do give the English pronunciation of everything. So you got, Il Solo Sorge Sempre, La Vipera, which is the Viper, Vendetta, La Barra Resterà Chiusa, Nell Ora Blu, right, the title track, La Omicidio, Resti Umani, Il Ritorno del Chiamante Silenzioso. I'm trying to get my Italian down. Sal, how am I doing here, right? And it's a long album. It's like 78 minutes long. There's a lot of music to take in here. I've listened to this numerous times already, and it's finally starting to make some sense to me, because the first like 2 listens, I was kind of like, my attention was waning a little bit, because there's so many of these little interludes and a little bit of spoken narration in between where I want to hear like the big riffs and the typical Uncle Acid stuff. That's on here. Definitely is on here. But you kind of have to take this all in one kind of listen and just follow along with the story, and like I said, it does play out like a soundtrack album. So for fans of like stuff like from Goblin and Zombie and whatnot, you're used to that. So all my Monsters Den compadres would probably really, really dig this. So Chris and Craig and Dan and Davey and Jamie, I think you guys will probably really appreciate this if you haven't heard it already. So but it's definitely different. It's definitely different. Is this going to be a regular kind of grab and listen for me when it comes to Uncle Acid The Deadbeats? Probably not. But I do appreciate, I think it took a lot of guts to make something like this. And the fact that they are big fans of Italian cinema like I am, that's kind of cool. I can really appreciate that too. And I think it's a cool idea. It's very well executed. The musicianship is top notch. The vocals are great. The kind of arrangements of everything, it's really, really well done. Will we ever see this as an actual film? I don't know. We'll see. But for now, even if it only ever remains a soundtrack to an imaginary film that doesn't exist, I think it's a job well done. Right? So this, like I said, this is not going to be for everybody. So you may want to go and sample some stuff here if you can. But if you're a fan of the band from the beginning, and if you like Italian cinema, I think you'll want to hear this because it's really cool. I'm going to give it 3.5 out of 5 star. Very solid. Not an everyday listen for them, but I appreciate what they've done here. So go check it out if you've heard it. Let us know what you think down in the comments below. And visit us on the web at www.seaoftranquility.org. We're on Facebook, we're on YouTube, all together, all the damn time. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and click on that notification bell so you get alert of all of our content as it posts. And please do hit the like button before you leave. Also down below, we got the links to our Ko-Fi page for channel donations, our merch page, and our Cameo page. Thank you in advance for all your support there, as always, and we'll see you soon here with more stuff. I'm Pete Pardo. Thanks for watching, everybody. Take care. Bye-bye.